Welcome back, guys, to another episode of my Manchester United career on FIFA 15. Fresh from the win at Anfield against Liverpool, Manchester United's next game in the Premier League was another big one. It was against Chelsea, this time at Old Trafford. I think I showed you guys United's schedule for the start of the season. We had that Community Shield final against City at Wembley. Thankfully we won that, so it's a good way to kickstart our brand new campaign. And then we had to play Liverpool at Anfield. We won that as well. Then we had this game against Chelsea at Old Trafford. Then after that, which you'll see later on in this episode, would be the game at the Emirates against Arsenal. What a way to start the season against some of the top teams in England. Now, this same fixture last season against Chelsea at Old Trafford ended with Chelsea walking away with all 3 points due to that very early winner by Diego Costa. Took United by surprise, and as always, Chelsea, they parked the bus and they sat back and defended that lead for the rest of the game. But this time around, we had Cristiano Ronaldo in the team going up against his former manager, Jose Mourinho of Real Madrid. Do you remember that? Just a couple of seasons ago. We had a free kick here, 23 yards out. And of course, I was going to give it to Cristiano Ronaldo. Would it be Ronaldo to put United into the lead against Chelsea? It was there for the taking, up against Petr Cech. Fired it at the wall. Could have gone in the back of the net, seeing the ball took a deflection. Unfortunately it didn't, keeping the game at deadlock at Old Trafford against Chelsea. But it was a run by Cristiano Ronaldo. He was just getting all over the place for United, with a nice little 1-2 here and there with Raphael, eventually giving it to Rooney. And it was a poor shot by Rooney, wasn't even powerful at all as he hit it on the outside of his boot. I was surprised at how poor Petr Cech was there, really. It was an easy save for him, and all he had to do was collect the ball, hold it into his chest until the penalty area was clear. But no, he let go, and it allowed Di Maria to come in and just slide the ball into the back of the net. I mean, just look at that. Poor goalkeeping. Maybe it was because there was a bit of spin on the ball that it was just impossible to hold on to. Or maybe it was just, you know, the new goalkeeping features that they've put into FIFA 15 that let him down there. Chelsea, though, they were always going to bite back as soon as a goal had gone in against them. And Matic here gave the ball to Diego Costa. It was a poor shot from him, but it was parried away by De Gea. He couldn't hold on to the ball, and the ball fell to the feet of Cesc Fabregas, who was actually linked with United, I believe. Well, there was loads of speculation around Fabregas's move to Old Trafford before he actually signed for Chelsea. But it was his goal that put Chelsea back in this game. And in the second half, I really thought Eden Hazard was going to turn the ball into the back of the net and put Chelsea in the lead for the first time in this game. And that would have been bad news for United. We had a great opportunity to get ourselves in the lead here, with Ander Herrera being in loads of space. I just went for it, but Petr Cech pulled off a magnificent save. This is kind of a similar situation. Michael Carrick passing the ball back, but Rooney found it hard to twist his body to actually have a proper shot on goal as the ball ended up in the Stretford end. We had a corner here. Phil Jones with a fantastic header. You'll see the replay here as it just goes over. The ball was curling, looking for that top right hand corner at the near post, trying to beat Petr Cech, but it just wasn't to be. Otherwise that would have been the winner. We did get one final chance there from Ronaldo, who in the very last couple of minutes against Chelsea showed the only sign of optimism for United. And I thought for a split second it maybe found the bottom right hand corner, but no, it went out, and apparently it was a deflection from Godin, former United player from last season. And from that corner, the very last chance for United before the ref blew the whistle for the final time, Michael Carrick almost got the winner, but Petr Cech in the second half just seems so unbeatable. He really tightened himself up after that mistake he made in the first half. Chelsea will be happy with that result, but for United, yeah, we could have been doing so much better, and it was a better performance compared to that game against Chelsea in the same fixture last season. So we just came away with a point at Old Trafford, and we moved on then to more transfer news. PSG had rejected my offer for Marquinhos, so I eventually accepted their terms and offered them 13.5 million, and of course they were going to accept that because that was the price tag that they put on him. I thought at the time it was going to be interesting to see how much he wanted per week, because he's at such a young age at the moment in football terms, and he wanted 70 grand a week, which wasn't too bad, so I was happy to offer him that. Hopefully he'd come back and say, yep, I'll come and play for United. I did get an offer here from Bayern Munich Bayern Munich of all people for Johnny Evans. It just seems unbelievable. For 10.5 mil, I went in with a counter offer and said if you want him, you're going to have to pay 50 million. Marquinhos eventually came back, and of course he was never going to turn down the opportunity to play at the Theatre of Dreams, and he is now a United player. Bayern Munich did come back and said, well, we'll give you 13.5, we're not paying 15, and I upped it just a little bit more to 14.5 mil. And having Johnny Evans leave the club will allow Marquinhos to actually get a first team place, because last season it was just terrible for Diego Godin trying to get first team football, because I was like, well, I want to play Rojo, I want to play Shaw, and there just wasn't a place for him. Hopefully this season there'll be a place for Marquinhos. I'm sure there will be. Now, one position that does need strengthening, would you say, or bulking out at United is definitely the strikers. There just doesn't seem to be variety in the team at the moment. I know I've got James Wilson and Will Keane, and I could use them, but we need quality as well. We need instant performances, so I decided to go after Falcao yet again, try and get him on a permanent deal, as he was only on loan last season at Old Trafford. So I offered Monaco 30 mil plus Hernandez. I also went after Edison Cavani, as you saw. You've got to get them deals in there, see who's going to accept. So you guys will have to stay tuned to this episode to find out whether I managed to sign Cavani or bring back Falcao to Old Trafford. But first, we had our third game of the season to play, and it was against Arsenal at the Emirates. We've already played Liverpool then. We beat them at Anfield. We played Chelsea, where we drew 1-1, as you just saw. And now it was on to Arsenal. What a start to the season. And it's not going to get any easier, because we've got the Champions League group draw coming up very soon, and I'm sure we'll be drawn against some of Europe's top teams, and that's going to be starting in the next month or two. So it's not going to be an easy season for United this year like it kind of was last year, because we only had the Premier League to focus on, and also the other domestic cups like the FA Cup and the Capital One Cup. This season, you know, we've got to be worrying about midweek fixtures and players, whether they're going to be fit enough for the game on the weekend in the Premier League and so on. It's going to be tough going, and it's going to be weird as well with our return to the Champions League and getting used to that again. And it goes back to bringing in quality players. So having someone like Falcao in the team will just help our chances when it comes to the Champions League. Now, for some reason, I skipped the lineups for this game against Arsenal, but you can see them scrolling along the bottom there. I did start Marquinhos. This was his debut game for Manchester United. Talk about dropping you in at the deep end against one of our bitter rivals in the Premier League, and it's such a huge game as well to be playing away against Arsenal. But it'd be Ander Herrera here, gets sandwiched, but he still managed to work his way through, and I don't know why I went for a shot there outside the boxes. It does go over into the crowd, but we kept on pushing Arsenal. And Cristiano Ronaldo here, who's yet to get his first goal back in the Premier League, won himself a free kick here, and it would be something silly like, well, it was 35 yards out, as you can see, and of course I was going to give this to Ronaldo, who can absolutely smash them. And I was looking for the top left-hand corner here, just smacked the ball, and it was so close to going in. For a second I thought it had hit the back of the net and United would have found themselves 1-0 up within 40 minutes. I just love the way Ronaldo takes his free kicks. I mean, look how close that is to going in. Just a shame it's on the wrong side of the post as he went out for a goal kick. Doumbia for Arsenal, who caused us so many troubles last season in both fixtures, almost made it 1-0 there, as he had a chance on goal with that header. Hitting the post though, did beat De Gea, which was kind of worrying, as it just looked like a very soft connection with the ball from the head there. But from that, we hit Arsenal on the counter. Van Persie, former Arsenal player, found Rooney, who took the shot. Szczesny with a good save, but as he parried that away, it was Cristiano Ronaldo getting his first goal of the Premier League this season. Oh, what a powerful header, just showing Doumbia how it is done. The ball bouncing off the crossbar and across the line. You're going to see it here on the replay now. What a great angle. You can see the ball just bouncing up and down. And that's reminded me about going across the line. Have any of you guys actually come across the goal line technology yet on FIFA 15? Because I know it's in there. I know it's on the game, but I'm yet to come across a moment where the ball crosses the line, but we're a bit uncertain whether it did or not. So let me know, guys, if you come across it yet in the comments below. Now, take a look at this. Walcott dispossesses Manchester United, but Jones wins the ball back. Jones gives it to Ronaldo, and you can see Rooney there. You can see Herrera making the run. Nice little back pass, and eventually finds Van Persie from Herrera. Van Persie feeds the ball through to Rooney with the through ball, and Rooney just runs that into the box and makes it 2-1. It was just the perfect link up for Manchester United. Just a brilliant team goal. I love the way the ball just seemed to bounce off each play. It's like a game of pinball. Outclassing Arsenal in every sense, and Rooney did well to finish it up with a finesse shot, beating Szczesny there and making it 2-1 to Manchester United. But 2 goals wasn't enough. I wanted to make it 3 and have a good lead over Arsenal. Van Persie came so close to lobbing Szczesny there and making it 3-1. The Arsenal fans would have hated that if it had gone in. And what a great goal it would have been. And Cristiano Ronaldo rolling the ball over not once but twice. Had a shot at Szczesny. He was looking for his second goal of the game. And Szczesny parried, and the ball fell to the head of young Adnan Januzaj, who headed that home, making it 3-1 to Manchester United away from home against Arsenal of all teams, which is kind of an accomplishment, because we all know how stubborn Arsenal can be when they're playing at home. And they did get themselves another goal. They made it 3-2 here. Giroud just finding the bottom right hand corner. De Gea just wasn't looking lively enough, and where the hell was Giroud going? What a celebration. It just means so much to him that he had to run the full length of the pitch almost. But it was a nice volley into the bottom right hand corner. But we did go on to beat Arsenal in the end. 3-2 would be the final score. There's the skipper's armband around Cristiano Ronaldo, as I did eventually take Rooney off, who was looking a bit tired. But we held on, got the 3 points at the Emirates. It was a good game all around. It was just a shame that we had to concede another goal against Arsenal. And after that, I had the fantastic news that Monaco had accepted my offer. But take a look at this. Rooney did pick up a knock, actually. It wasn't because he was feeling tired in that game against Arsenal. He picked up a sprained knee and is going to be out for 4 weeks at the start of the season as well. Could potentially miss the start of the Champions League. So that was a bit of a blow for United, but it was on to the contract offer. Monaco had accepted my 40 million plus Hernandez offer for Falcao. At this point, I couldn't believe my luck. I was so close to making it a permanent deal for Falcao instead of him being on loan for United. Now at this point, time was running out pretty quickly. The transfer window was about to shut, and I thought to myself, shall I continue to pursue Edison Cavani? Shall I go after him and bring him to United, or shall I just stick with Falcao? Well, PSG did reject my offer, and I thought, well, you know what, seeing that Monaco have accepted and Falcao's accepted my contract offer, I was more than happy to bring him back to Old Trafford. What a team I now have. Cristiano Ronaldo, Di Maria, Falcao, Blind, Herrera, Van Persie, Rooney, Mata. Oh, just fantastic, and there's no excuse not to do well in the Champions League this season. You can see the headline there. Manchester United and Monaco finally agree on terms. So happy that I've managed to wrap up that deal. I feel pretty lucky actually as well, because if you guys remember at the end of the last episode, it was pretty much a done deal between Falcao and Bayern Munich. It looked like Bayern Munich were going to get their man, but somehow we managed to convince Monaco to accept. I think it was the fact that we were offering a player as well, Hernandez, and he was a player that they wanted to have on their team. So yeah, pretty happy to have Falcao back at United. He was my top goal scorer last season. Now I did receive an offer for Marouane Fellaini for 7 million from Tottenham. I did accept because last season he didn't even start a game really. I think the only time I played him he came off the bench a couple of times in Capital One Cup fixtures or FA Cup fixtures. He never really got a start for United in the Premier League, so I thought he would be better off at Tottenham where he could get some first team football. And that was pretty much it for the transfer window. So I managed to sign Ronaldo, bring him back home to Old Trafford. Falcao comes to United, and so did Marquinhos from PSG. And with that, guys, I'm going to end it there for this episode. I hope that you've all enjoyed, and do stay tuned because the season is just getting started.